On the Radio is brought to you by Zurich Insurance, the perfect place to catch up with all things Melbourne. If you enjoy this content and want more inside access from the team, make sure you visit the club website.
Joining us now from the all-conquering Melbourne Football Club, their General Manager of AFL Football Performance and one of the great men in football, Alan Richardson. Richo, thanks for your time.
Yeah, good morning, Kane. Morning, Kingy.
I was having a bit of a laugh at your title, Richo, General Manager of AFL Football Performance. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, just think of the traditional head of footy who also has to worry about the operational side of things. Or for us, it's the AFLW program, it's the organisation of the VFL program. It's my role is, as the title would suggest, about the performance of the AFL team and all of its staff. Anyone to do with the AFL program. That's basically my role.
Covers a lot of ground. What keeps you up at night? What causes you the most stress in that role?
Well, definitely COVID in recent times. That's been quite challenging. I can only imagine. Well, I can't really. What Simo and now John Longmire are going through. Longmire are going through over in Perth. That would be incredibly challenging. But that's probably been the greatest challenge for 2 or 3 years now, really.
Rich, it's been great to watch the Demons over the last 18 months or so. How have you seen the shift now from being the hunters now to being the hunted by every team in the competition, looking to do something different against the way that Simon's setting this team up to play? You know, all the talk this week is about St Kilda getting up for one big performance against the Premiers. How have the group handled that, and what have you seen?
Yeah, no, it's happened for a little while, Kingy. When we had such a positive start last year, winning 9 in a row, and so clearly, you guys are talking about coaching groups. There's, the amount of vision that coaching groups get now to, different angles to be able to look at what you're doing, and that happens when a team has such a strong start to a season. That happened last year, and there were certainly things that clubs were throwing at you. But no, you're right. This year it's probably gone to another level. When you have a whole pre-season to sit down and look at the team that won it. We've done that before with Richmond's recent success. How do they do what they do, and how do they do it so well, and what can we take from that, and does it work for our group? And so that's certainly happened to us. We, no greater example on the weekend against the Hawks. There were some things that we hadn't quite seen before, and it's a real challenge for the players and the coaches. And what's been pleasing is their ability to be able to adapt. I think our third quarters have been really positive, and that's probably the greatest amount of time you get to be able to go over the vision with the group and get real clarity in terms of what's absolutely happening. You like to be able to achieve it through your leadership group off the bench and through the coaches at quarter time, but halftime gives you such a great opportunity, and the coaches have done a bloody good job.
You've been around football for a long time, 120-odd games way back when with the Pies. You were how many years at the Saints? I think you coached 120-odd games at the Saints, so quite some time there. Now you're at Melbourne, and you get a chance to be sort of first removed, sort of one step back from the action of coaching. What influence does Max Gawn have on this group? Not just in terms of the way he plays, but around the club? Because we hear a lot, but we don't really get to see it or live it. Can you let us in a little bit?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I would say that Max, he's probably the best player that I've seen in terms of the influence that he has on performance. But he has just incredible balance, Kingy. So I imagine this was similar with Luke Hodge. Just picks the right moment. Let's have a beer as a group. Let's have a laugh. And then equally, when things need to be challenged, he steps forward there as well. He's got a really good group that work with him, and that's also one of his great strengths, to bring people along. So he's really impressive. We've had getting on planes. We had a game last year where we had to sit on the tarmac for 8 hours. That's tough. And then fly back to Melbourne. The game got called off. If you've got someone that creates an environment where you're all feel like you're standing on eggshells because you don't want to say anything around the leader, well, that's not going to work given what we've been through. And so, no, he's had a massive influence, Max. There's no doubt about that.
Fascinating answer, Richo, to be honest. So Max being able to sharpen at the right time and say, read the tough line or make the tough call or sharpen the group, without specifics, how many times would that have happened, say, this season so far or through the off-season? Would it be regularly? How many times would he have to be that guy?
Yeah, it's regular. Yeah, but as I say, the balance is the key, Kingy. He looks for opportunities to celebrate with his teammates. He goes to the VFL every week to acknowledge those young blokes that play. He would, but no, whether it's a leadership meeting where he can be challenging at times of me in my role to make sure that we, as a footy club, can be as good as we can be. He'll be challenging on training standards. He'll be challenging on things on game day. I mean, he's got an incredible lieutenant with Jack Viney, who also doesn't miss those opportunities to challenge. But no, he does that really well. He gets that part of it, the balance, absolutely right. So we're very lucky.
Melbourne's General Manager of AFL Football Performance is Alan Richardson. He joins us this morning. One of the football media topics this week has been Collingwood's leadership group having a chat to young Jack Ginnivan, Richo, and unfortunately for them it got out into the public domain. How often does that happen? And do Melbourne have rules around when you can and can't celebrate? I guess it's an extension of the Max Gawn conversation. Yeah,
no, they do, and I think sounds like we're pretty similar to what happened at the Pies. I was at the induction for our first years this year at Jack Viney's house with Christian Petrarca was there as well. And that was what they did. They sat around and had a feed. There was no issues there. It was just this is what we do at Melbourne. This is the Melbourne way when it comes to the way you conduct yourself. We're here to make sure we have a bit of fun and win games of footy and maximise your potential. But there are some guidelines. There's some rules that we live to, and this is what you need to buy into. So they do that really well. I reckon we certainly don't wait for an incident to then call out the way we do things, and it's very much driven by the players. Every now and again in my time, whether it be at Melbourne or other times, certainly things need to get elevated, but. No, I like it when the players own it and drive it, and they've. We're not going to say we haven't had issues. We have. They're young blokes. They're generally risk takers. That's why they are who they are, and so young blokes just need to be guided from time to time.
Adam Uze stepped in last week. A bit of talk about his credentials. Can he be a senior coach, Richo, and why?
Well, we're blessed. Your topic is about, I think Kingy called them pit crews. We got a really good crew of coaches, Greg Stafford, Troy Chaplin, obviously Choco as well. So we have a real blend. Uze has been with Clarko for a long time. He's been a winner. He's a very calm person. He's got a terrific footy brain. But his ability to be able to connect with the players because of that calmness, and that's probably the greatest strength of our collective coaching group, the relationships they've built with our playing group. And he's probably at the forefront of that. So he's only been with us now for, this is his second season, and he's hit the ground running. He's earned respect because of his understanding of the game, and because of where he came from. He come in with, strong credibility, but he's only built on that because of the way he goes about his coaching. He's a very impressive operator. I think he'll end up being a senior coach sooner rather than later.
Almost full strength, Richo. Christian Salem obviously not in the team at the moment. He's probably the only player that wouldn't be in your first pick 22 at the moment. It's incredibly healthy. You've got a big challenge on the weekend with the Saints. I get the feeling that this group is looking for a challenge, has been waiting for not a contender, but a team of note to step forward and give them an opportunity. They haven't played a team in the top 8 just yet. Is that a fair assumption?
I think it's a little bit. I can understand those thoughts, Kingy, because clearly that's sort of been the way the games have played out. That is, sort of sparring with the opposition for a while, and I don't want to sound disrespectful at all, but sort of working things out and working through some of the issues that we spoke about earlier that the opposition are trying to do, and then being pretty powerful, particularly after half time when challenged. And that's been really pleasing that we've had to find different ways to win. I mean, the Hawthorn game, that wasn't a Melbourne game last week. That's not the way we want to play footy with transition. So, and they got hold of us there. But look, the opposition have been really impressive. There's been parts of our game, even when we haven't quite ticked over on the scoreboard, that we've still liked, but the opposition have just been a bit better. And so we've had to work through that. But you're right, we think we're slowly getting the cattle back. That was it was a fair hiccup last week, not only from a player perspective, but a staff perspective in terms of the impact with COVID. But those that came in did a good job, and we were rapt that we were able to get the result when we probably weren't quite at our best. And as I said, not playing our way. So we're looking forward to it. We know the Saints are playing really good footy. They're really hard to score against. Their defence is outstanding. Their ability to win the ball in contest is elite. And they get Rowan Marshall back in, who he and Paddy together, they're an incredible combination, and we think we've got a pretty good pair in there. So it'll be a great game of footy. We're looking forward to it.
We've been debating all morning, Richo, why Simon Goodwin has only signed for 2 years. Now, Kane thinks that it's all sacrifice. He's taken less. It's for the group. It's all that sort of stuff. I'm sort of leaning towards he's expecting the soft cap to go up by 30% in 2 years' time, and he's waiting for a little bit more moolah to roll in round the edges, Richo. Can you give me the definitive reason why he's only signed for 2?
Now, Kingy, that says a little bit more about the lens in which you look at things.
Exactly right.
Now, no, look, I don't want to go into details about contracts, but I did hear a little bit of the commentary. And, of course, if soft cap goes up, like with players, that'll happen, with our coaches. So, Goody certainly won't miss out there if things, start to look a bit rosier on that front. But
hang on.
No. What I will say is he put the footy department and the program first. There's no doubt about that. These are his exact words. He didn't want to blow up what was working. And so in dealing with Michael Dowdy from TAA all the way through, the negotiation went for a while, but it was how do we get what a premiership coach should get, and also maintain the program that saw us deliver that premiership for the footy club. So that was the forefront of Goody's mind, and certainly the footy at Goody's mind, I should say, and at our mind. And so we got a terrific result for both.
Richo, we could chat for hours. We've got to let you go, though. Good luck on the weekend. Congratulations on what you've built, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Good on you guys. Thanks for that.
The way Richo's performed today, I think we can add some more letters to his title.
If
we could put another couple of words on.
Well, just explaining what's involved. I mean, I think he might need a pay rise as well. That was Alan Richardson from the Melbourne Football Club.